Hello, people of the world watching vehicle reviews on the internet. Welcome to this, the 2024 Ford Maverick XLT Tremor. Today we're gonna get Goose's wingman up in the air, nerd out in the tech specs, see how it is constructed, and then go take it out on new Rally Special Stage 2.0 because this was the previous champion of the former Rally Special Stage. And I wanna see if it still has what it takes to hold that title. First thing that makes a tremor is it has different lower bumper balances to give you a better approach and departure angle. Also, while it may have the 4K tow package, it actually doesn't. The reason why it has it is for the rear differential unit, not for the towing capacity. It is only rated at 2,000 pounds due to cooling capacity because of these more aggressive bumpers on the Tremor package for better approach and departure angles off-road. Also, despite being a dedicated off-road package, you do not get a matching all-terrain tire. You do get a full-size spare with an XL model Steely. Single tip exhaust, mild aluminized steel with a downturn tip. Out back, the Maverick Tremor utilizes a trailing arm multi-link rear suspension with aluminium lower control arms, cast iron rear knuckle, stamped steel trailing arm and front link, paired with a unique Tremor branded FOMO-Co monotube rear damper and also a 0.8-inch taller rear coil spring than you get on the regular all-wheel drive Mavericks. Rear anti-sway bar mounted at the front of the rear subframe, unchanged at 23.5 millimeter. Housed in the center of a steel rear subframe is the Dana Advantech twin clutch rear differential unit, and for the Tremors you get a 3.81 final drive ratio. It's capable of sending up to 70% of the available torque from the PTU back here, and 100% of it can go to either left or right wheel, including it can also overdrive the outer wheel in cornering. While this may not technically be the first generation of the Ford Maverick, it is the first generation of the Maverick pickup built on Ford's C2 platform, and this XLT Tremor off-road package model weighs in at 3,807 pounds. Still a little disappointed. They have hairy cardboard instead of plastic under here. Everything muffler forward to the cat is 60 millimeter in diameter stainless steel piping. How would they save like 16 cents not painting the drive shafts? I don't understand the logic behind that. Just use a super soaker and some cheap paint and just. As far as the transmission goes, the all-wheel drive EcoBoost Mavericks come standard with the in-house AF35 8-speed automatic transmission. It has a maximum torque input rating of only 350 Newton meters, which is 257 pound-feet of torque. Attached to that transmission for the all-wheel drive system is the liquid-cooled Dana PTU. It is a multi-clutch type power takeoff unit. It's capable of disconnecting to run in full front-wheel drive to save on fuel or send 70% of the available torque to the rear wheels. Up front, the Maverick utilizes a McPherson strut-style suspension with aluminium lower control arms. Tight, but not nightmare tight. It's still doable. Front anti-sway bar measures in at 26.5 millimeter. Raw, unpainted cast iron knuckles. Again, paired with those FOMO-Co Tremor branded coilover dampers with a taller spring. Unlike the Honda Ridgeline Trail Sport, Ford puts a super thick, beefy metal skid plate under the entire underside of the engine. All right, time for the braking test. Nothing behind me. Ready? Go. Okay. I was more aggressive than the vehicle with the braking on that one. I got really ready for it. It's solid braking, good pedal feel, average stopping distance. That braking was just made possible thanks to a single piston caliper and a 325 millimeter or 12.8-inch front rotor. The wheels on the Tremor Edition, they are these 17x7 with a positive 37.5 millimeter offset alloys. Has the inside of just one spoke painted in that little metallic mustard accent color. Wrapped in a set of two 35/65 17-inch Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain tires. The AT3W, that sounds like C-3PO's cousin. Hairy cardboard inner fender liners. Matte metallic mustard recovery points. You see those active grille shutters behind the front bumper cover. Plastic mud flaps and lower rocker covers protect it from rock chips and a little graphic. Out back you have another single piston caliper with an 11.89 inch or 302 millimeter rotor. The wheel and tire, same size as you get up front. In the name of science, it is now time to give this Maverick the beans. Bolstering assessment? No, it doesn't really have much bolstering to the seats. Benefit of the Tremor package is this black denim fabric that actually feels like it would hold up fairly well. It's pretty thick. Major downside though, there is no lumbar support in these seats at all. You have to either go up to the Lariat or possibly the luxury package since that has power seats. It might have it, I'm not too sure. As far as drive modes go, I have a Tremor button down here of a checkered flag, a leaf, and a starfish. I can go from normal to tow haul to slippery. For off-road modes, I guess slippery kind of counts. Then I have mud and ruts and sand. I'm gonna mix things up here a bit since I have done an acceleration test on one of these before. I'm actually gonna try the sand mode on asphalt for the acceleration test. I think it might actually be a little bit quicker. However, there is no manual mode, no flappy paddles in the back of the steering wheel, and there's no automatic shift lever to shift because you gotta dial. In the center of it though, there is a low mode. The little tire doing a burnout is for your traction control. All right, we're gonna see what this thing can do. Ready? Go. Nice. Let me build up a little bit on the launch. Still has those big torque dips when it grabs a gear, protecting the transmission. That's already good. This thing is definitely quick, but I wish they would offer the 6-speed manual from the Focus RS in one of these. I'm sure it can be adapted to make this work fairly easily since it's based on the same platform. To hood pop, you must have door open. And it's a double hood pop. Ta-da! It's a light hood. That is a super light hood, but no hood struts. Underneath the hood of the 2024 Ford Maverick XLT Tremor is none other than the 2-liter EcoBoost dual overhead cam turbocharged 4-cylinder that produces 250 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 277 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM. The 2-liter EcoBoost is an engine that has been in production for quite a while now, which is a good thing typically for longevity, plenty of time to work out any kinks and issues. It measures in at 1,999 cc's with an 87.5 by 83.1 millimeter bore and stroke, a 9.3:1 compression ratio with a forged steel crankshaft, powder metal rods, and aluminum pistons. It does employ Ford's TI VCT, twin independent variable camshaft timing. It is a direct inject engine only. There is no port fuel injection to help keep the back of the valves clean. And as you can see also, the intake manifold, which is plastic, is located at the front of the engine bay. Turbochargers at the back. It is a little bit tight back here. See, the charge pipe is plastic. That helps with heat soak, but yeah, it's a little tight getting back down there to the turbo, which is a twin scroll Borg-Warner unit. Really can't see it though. Some of you may have already seen the redesigned 2025 Maverick front end in that spy photo of the new potential ST model. I'm hoping that they have an RS eventually with the drivetrain from the Focus RS, the 2.3 and the 6-speed manual. That would be so sweet in this thing. Welcome to Rally Special Stage 2.0. This is truly a desert torture test. The conditions outside right now, 109 degrees Fahrenheit. The sand out here, super silty like talcum powder. This is gonna be brutal, not only on the vehicle, but on poor Angel standing outside with the cameras. In the center, I have a physical button to lock the center differential. I also have a physical button to lock the rear differential. The sand mode automatically locks the center differential, does not lock the rear, however, and it defeats the traction control. And let's hope that my GoPros don't overheat because it's really hot out there. Ready? Go! Nice little off-road launch, pretty good grip too off the line. Hard on the brakes. Now this is way more challenging on the new trail because there's more aggressive drop-offs. I have to be careful for the suspension. But so far, these tremor dampers are handling it fairly well. Nothing overly too rough yet. Man, this thing is an absolute beast at putting the power down though. Hard on the brakes, brakes doing good. Staying very neutral out here as well. I love the added fake sounds that you get in the sand mode. Normally I hate fake sound generation, but this is one of the few vehicles where it actually sounds good in here. I don't know if this is looking boring on camera, but that's probably because this is extremely fast of a lap for this. I don't time these because I'm not trying to make this a competition like that, but this thing is, wow, that was tight right there. I can't see where I'm going now because of the sand. That was really sharp turning. It was zero understeer. It was a little bit of oversteer. Brakes still holding up great. Nice. Went exactly where I wanted it to. Oh man. The big jarring bumps that I have to slow down for are kind of good because the speeds would get a little excessive out here if it wasn't for having to slow down for this stuff. Nice. Over this little section of whoops. This thing feels fairly light and nimble at 3,700 pounds. It's super chuckable out here. All right, coming across the line. Good, good. You can tell that it's super hot out because I had to do the first lap filming all the exterior camera shots. So the engine's already super heat soaked and my temp gauge now is saying it's 110 degrees outside. So you can feel a little bit of power robbed in these high temperatures versus driving this thing at night in the street when it's like 79 degrees outside, but engine temp still normal, exactly where it is when I was driving it normal traffic. So it's tough. I would have to say this is more nimble and playful than the Ranger Raptor, but on the rally special stage, the Ranger Raptor is probably more capable just because of what it is. All right, time for the hill climb test. Now this is a small hill, but it does have quite a bit of articulation challenge to it. It's slick, super slick and sandy, and it's hard pack underneath. And I have no idea what's going on when you get over the other side. You can't see once you're coming over the crest. It's pretty aggressive breakover too. I'm gonna keep it in sand mode. That makes the most sense still. I could use mud and ruts, but this isn't mud. And I am going to lock my rear differential unit. I did this with the Forester already, and that's shorter wheelbase, I believe. This is not challenging it at all. It did better than the Forester did for sure. I'm going a little slow because I don't want to, there we go. I didn't want to scrape coming over the top of it. I was a little nervous because I feel like this is longer than the Forester, but the all-wheel drive system did do better on that than Subaru's did. I think it's because this doesn't have a CVT. It has an actual automatic transmission with gears. That hill wasn't much of a challenge for this thing. It was supposed to be, but it really did not challenge this whatsoever. Now to go back down, I'm gonna use my trail control. I can go anywhere from 1 to 20 miles per hour. 20 is excessive. And then trust fall it off the pedal. The ABS it's more aggressive on this than it was in the Subaru, that's for sure. It's kind of, you can hear it pulsating, more like the Toyota Lexus systems. Jeez, I never noticed how bulbous this Ford logo is. Oh, the camera's under it, that's probably why. Lockable tailgate, so thieves can't steal it. There's a little QR code on it. Well, that's weird. 20 pounds max. What is that small that weighs that much? That'd be interesting. A cannonball? What is this? Wait. Ah, it's a spot to hook up an accessory. I mean, the lid to open it is a little bit ignorant, but acceptable. Actually, it has huge speakers in the C-pillars. I kind of wish this thing had a manual sliding window. I know they're easy to break into, but I still like them. Little bit of an Easter egg. If you get a Cactus Gray Maverick, the lettering on your floor mats actually matches. Ford won't like me telling this, but a tech tip, if you want to add lumbar to your non-lumbar equipped Maverick, it's like 38 bucks for the parts from Ford and a switch to add lumbar to your non-lumbar equipped Maverick. The slight downside of the fabric in here, that may or may not be deodorant. dirt stains on that. Don't worry about that, okay? There's massive plastic storage cubbies underneath the back seat. You can probably fill it with ice and keep frozen fish in it. Best part about the Maverick's interior is the fact that all of the base plastic trim in here is navy blue. There's a weird little cubby above the infotainment screen. You can see when it's turned off, but the dome light is actually a Cree LED. Personally, I think this little design to hold your phone vertically like that over on the passenger side, it's kind of genius, except for the fact that your phone's charge port faces down. If you look right here on the climate control buttons, a single cab pickup truck for your recirc button. It has an electronic parking brake, and I feel like they could have saved cost by just giving us a Rip-It style manual one. They trying to hint to something here? It's another single cab pickup. Man, you'd probably have to really send it to roll one of these things. The door handles have physical metal cap head Allen screws as part of the design. It has a keyed ignition, and I'm actually not sad about that. The gauges still remain unchanged. They're likely going to get updated next year. Analog on the sides with a little digital display in the center. The sound system in here, it's loud, and it's for a bass stereo, it's alright, but it does distort a little bit. The infotainment system, if this were a sub $25,000 vehicle where these start, it's fine. It gets the job done. It doesn't have a lot to it, but it's not bad. For a $35,000 Maverick Tremor, it's lackluster. It does have Fruit and robot compatibility, however, it is wired connection only, no wireless. This was an off-road review. On-road, this is just as much fun on a windy road as it was on the Rally Special stage. Off-road capability-wise, I feel that the drivetrain itself is exceeding the capability of the actual geometry of the vehicle. You can start to get yourself into trouble because of how capable the drivetrain itself is, where a bigger lift would probably come in handy than what the Tremor package already gives you. Now this is getting a model refresh for 2025, and it does look a little bit different in the front from the spy photos I've seen. I don't know if I necessarily like the refresh more than I do this. I think the first generation of these does look good. There are a couple fun colors on the color palette of options you can have to choose from on this, although I feel this truly deserves almost like a splash model with some really bright, vibrant colors. If you look at this thing's competitors, the Honda Ridgeline, which is considerably more expensive, and the Hyundai Santa Cruz, which just does not compete at all off-road, it kind of almost is in a class of its own. And while that's a good thing right now, I feel this definitely needs more competitors, because this is a super appealing type of vehicle that works well for most people. It is now time to give the Maverick some scores. And full disclaimer, just because I review a vehicle in the past does not mean that the score is guaranteed to stay the same. So first is the bean score, the assessment of the feeling I get in my gut when I give it the beans. And it's getting a rating of, followed by the cookie score, and this Tremor XLT as equipped at $35,000 gets a rating of, word of wisdom, the Tremor XLT is the highest priced version of a Maverick I could consider recommending someone to purchase. The closer these get to 40 grand, they lose their appeal, because the whole point of a Maverick is that low entry model price. Next is the wrench score assessment of ease of maintenance, and it earns a rating of. Next is the meatball score, the assessment of off-road capabilities, and the 2024 Maverick Tremor gets a rating of. Rally Special Stage 2.0 is far more challenging than the first one, which I actually like about it. Lastly is the Penguin score, the assessment on how much I personally like a vehicle, and the little Maverick Tremor earns a rating of. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll see you soon with another. Bye.